It's time for a quick time update of the Douglas County Board of Commissioners meetings during the month of April. Larry Werner, our county manager, is with us. Larry, welcome.
Thank you.
And we had two meetings on the 6th of April and the 20th of April. On the 6th, commissioners adopted a resolution declaring a state of emergency due to potential severe weather events and also potential for flooding during the spring and summer runoff periods. So this is kind of a preemptive move.
Right, and with this, it provides the opportunity for the county to request reimbursement for any kind of pre-flood activity that takes place between now and if we do get some spring or early summer flooding. And then it also sets in place for, obviously, for reimbursement for any damage or work we have to do at that point. So it's trying to get everything set in motion before we actually have to start responding.
And I guess also it helps with getting equipment and things too, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah.
It does. Yeah, we can pre-plan equipment. We can, kind of take advantage of that and then be able to reimburse contractors and that sort of thing.
And how is the river looking right now?
It's looking really full for those of our listeners that travel up 395 up across the Cradlebaugh, those areas. The river is still within the banks, but it's awfully full. And like I say, if it continues that way, that's fine. And if we can kind of get cycles of heating and cooling, maybe we can see the snowpack come off gently. But if it comes off all at once, then we'll be facing an issue again.
Right. Okay, very good. Also at that meeting, commissioners agreed to enter into an agreement with the Carson Water Sub-Conservancy District. They'll be providing $95,000 to complete the area drainage plan for the Johnson Lane area.
Right, and we're able to work through the Sub-Conservancy District. They have access to more federal funding than we do for these kinds of studies. And it's to basically look at the summertime alluvial fan flooding that occurs in the Johnson Lane area and how to deal with that. It's to develop an area-wide plan that we can begin to try to look at some large and small capital projects to try to alleviate the flooding damage that occurs in that area.
Right, and this is just the planning stage.
This is just the planning stage. With the $95,000, we'll get a $285,000 grant from the Sub-Conservancy, from FEMA. And it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of environmental analysis. It takes a lot of surveying. And then trying to look at what can be constructed, either soft construction like plantings and landscaping versus hard construction like culverts and channels and small barrier dams, that sort of thing. But helps us plan that out.
It's a work in progress.
Exactly.
Okay, Board of Commissioners also met on the 20th, and at that meeting they discussed the fiscal year 2017-2018 budget and also the Douglas County Redevelopment Agency funds, and they also dovetailed that right into the Douglas County Capital Improvement Plan for 2018 to 2022, and that'll all be back before the commissioners in May. So this was kind of a workshop session.
Exactly. The board this year has wanted to get a little more involved in the details of the budget, the particular budgets and the funds that you've just mentioned. And we've kind of walked them through that. We're at a point now where we need to have them now tell us what their priorities are. That's kind of what we started on the 20th, is to kind of talk about what's out there, what departments have requested, what they as the board see are the priorities. There may be others besides what we've provided. And they'll provide us with that information. We'll bring it back to them on May 4th to try to finalize that, to get it into the budgets, and then it'll come back again on May 15th for final adoption. It's a combination of as you mentioned, the operating budget, the redevelopment area budget, and the capital budget. And those items that are identified as capital will move into the capital plan, and so we kind of dovetail all that together and try to bring it back as a package.
Okay, and something else the commissioners have been discussing for quite a while is the strategic plan, and commissioners did approve and continued at that meeting the update on the Douglas County strategic plan for 2018 to 2022. So what are some of the priorities there?
The priorities that were listed, there were 6. One of the top ones, 2 or 3 I can mention right offhand, is the financial stability, that no matter what we do, we have to be financially stable. And that is kind of the overriding goal or priority. The second 2 that were weighed pretty heavily with the board were sustainability employees, to try to make sure that we can retain employees that we have, and also infrastructure. And then there was discussion about economic vitality, kind of the environmental nature of the community. I'm trying to think of the right words we used. But essentially, the elements are in there. It was a matter of how they were presented. The board doesn't really want to set them as priorities. They want to set them as goals that all of them kind of work together so that we don't just focus on a particular strategic goal, that we really address all of them, and that somehow or another we move the whole plan forward. So that's been our struggle, is trying to figure out the terminology and to get that back to the board that they feel comfortable with that.
Okay, so we'll be seeing more on the strategic plan as the months go by.
Yes, yes.
Okay. All right, well, Larry, I want to thank you for sharing information here on the QuickTime Update. I'm Lloyd Higuera for the QuickTime Update with County Manager Larry Werner, and we'll see you next time right here on the QuickTime Update.